Welcome to Generation GPS, your go-to guide for navigating life's twists, turns, and total detours. I'm LaDonna Green, and joining me today is my sister and co-host, Tameka Green.
Hello.
Hey. Today we're talking about something that doesn't get nearly enough attention: mental hygiene. We all know the importance of brushing our teeth, showering regularly, but what about cleaning up our mental space? In a time where we're juggling careers, caregiving, relationships, and relentless headlines, our mental load is heavier than ever. On this week's episode, it's time for a mental reset, a toolkit to help you clear your head, care for your mind, and build routines that protect your peace.
Now let's start with what you can do solo, quietly, consistently, and on your own terms. Tip number 1, morning mind check. Before reaching for your phone, ask yourself, how do I feel today? And what's one thing I need mentally? Tip number 2, practice brain dumping. Write down every task, thought, or worry on your mind with no filter. It clears space for focused thinking. And tip number 3, use the 4-7-8 breathing technique. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7 seconds, and exhale for 8 seconds. Repeat 4 rounds. It's calming and proven to reduce anxiety.
Now, I can say personally, there years ago, I used to use this technique. I had a therapist who, whenever I would have like really strong bouts of anxiety or frustration, I would use this technique. And I can say, just from using it myself, it is very helpful. I say the best way it worked for me was to be able to do it where I knew that if I used it less frequently, I was managing those tough times better. So just like with all of these, make this something you make a part of your regular schedule, and you'll find it to be helpful. Have you ever used any type of breathing techniques like that, sis?
Yeah, I mean, I have. I usually try and meditate every morning. Once I get up and say my prayers, I usually try and do a meditation in the morning and use this technique to also get myself settled into meditation. But I also do brain dumping every Sunday. I usually sit down and write a list of everything that's on my mind, everything that I think I have to do or what's going on. And it definitely helps me set the tone for the week, but it also helps to kind of put it all on paper. So I think for me, that definitely helps with mental hygiene.
Was it hard at first trying to get yourself into that habit?
I would say, yeah, because I don't really like journaling or doing anything of that nature. So getting myself into the habit to do anything like that is hard. Like, I don't use to-do lists. Like, I do if I have stuff to do, but I have always felt that I was pretty good at keeping track of the things that I needed to do. And that's been fairly true. But I do think that there is something to be said about getting into the practice of writing stuff down to see your words on paper and really kind of think about, really see what's on your mind if you're really using brain dumping the way that you should as a mental
Mhm.
hygiene practice. I
Mhm.
think there is some benefit to that. I'm still not perfect at it, but I do try and do it on Sundays. I haven't done it yet today, but I do plan on doing it at some point. So yeah.
Okay, well that's cool because I mean that's something I haven't tried, but I'm down for anything that'll clear up some of that headspace. So all right. So the second thing we're going to talk about is something you can do in a partnership or group practices. Mental hygiene isn't just a solo mission. Community does help. So tip number 4, create a mental health buddy system. Weekly check-ins with a friend or family member. Ask each other, what's one thing you're carrying that you need to set down? Tip number 5, try a silent or processing walk. Silent walk, no talking, no listening to music. Just walk, hear yourself, and hear nature. Processing walks are when one person talks and the other listens. Again, you can't do it by yourself. Sometimes you need to, but other times it helps to have another listening ear. Tip number 6, host a stress dump circle, a monthly 3-person circle where everyone shares about 5 to 10 minutes of unfiltered thoughts. End with what's giving you hope. I actually like this idea. I never thought of doing this, but I think it's a good idea. So you can share. Is this something you think you'd put into your practice?
I think something like this, if I think about it, has kind of grown organically for me over the last several months. It's been cool. I've been meeting and connecting with women that are my age and where I live. And so, but whenever we get together, we have been talking about this kind of stuff. So I think this conversation has kind of grown organically just out of us getting to know each other. But we're all in a similar place in our life. We're all similar age. And I think all of us don't have any children. I think so. Yeah. So all of us are. I think I have one friend that is married, but all of us have no children, and the most of us are single or have no partners or any serious relationships. So I
Mhm.
think that that's been something that has brought us together, but I think this has kind of organically grown into some type of informal circle. But definitely walking, exercising, getting your body moving in a group setting, I think is also something that's important as well.
I think something else that's important about this too is sometimes you're not close to your family member. My sister and I talk a lot, but we use FaceTime, we use telephone. So, of course, that one-to-one, one-on-one personal contact in a group, maybe sitting in a park or at a coffee shop, even if it's in your living room. I think those type of interactions are important, but don't cut yourself off from the opportunity of having that stress dump circle just because you're not in close proximity. I mean, you could do a Zoom meeting or like a group FaceTime, but I think doing this is a good way for you to realize some of the thoughts that you're having and also help everyone in your group feel connected to their thoughts and know that you can have unfiltered thoughts together.
Nice. So now let's talk about some tools that you can use for your mental health bookshelf that can help you with your mental hygiene. Now, one tool you can use are books, of course. There are 3 books that we'd like to recommend. One of them is called The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest. The second book is called Burnout by Emily and Amelia Nagasaki. And the third book is called Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport. I personally have The Mountain Is You on my Audible playlist right now as we speak. Now, there are a couple of apps that might be helpful to you as well. Insight Timer, which is a free meditation and sleep app. I actually use this on a regular basis. Dialio, which is a mood and habit tracking app with emojis. And also, there's an app called Wobot, which is a friendly, evidence based mental health chatbot. Now, there are also a few websites that may be of help to you. One of them is called Mental Health America, which offers free screenings and resources. Another website is Therapy for Black Girls, which is a directory and a podcast. And finally, which one I'm a fan of, which is the NAP Ministry, which is Rest as Resistance and Mental Health website.
Yeah, that's something I actually wouldn't mind using myself. Sometimes I find it hard to get into a good sleep cycle. So, I think anything that helps me kind of slow down, wind down would be helpful. Mhm. So, now that we've gone over all these tips, the main purpose of this podcast was to make sure that we focus on mental hygiene as a lifestyle. So let's bring this topic home. How do you make this a lifestyle? How do you make mental health a part of your everyday life? Tip number 7, anchor your day. Find something that allows you to find a basic routine. In the morning, check in, breathe, reflect, like Tameka said, take meditation, possibly prayer. And at night, Do the same thing. You're going to check out, release, unplug. I know something that I've been trying to focus on is instead of looking and doom scrolling or even reading articles and stuff on my phone, I have made a point to try to just actually read, whether it's a book. I actually recently got a Kindle, which I like. I know it sounds strange. I like being able to flip through and see different books. But unplugging at the end of the night, I think, is really important, so you can get the rest you need. And rest isn't just going to sleep, it's about resting your mind and your body and giving yourself the opportunity to unwind. Tip number 8, set digital boundaries, which kind of runs into what I said. Unfollow what drains you. And that's not just unfollowing people who could be on social media. Make sure that you're disconnecting from certain things that are going to take away from your life force. Turn off alerts after 8 p.m. Now, if your schedule is a little different, maybe 8 isn't a good time, but always find at least 30 minutes to an hour before you close your eyes so you can get to sleep as time to turn off alerts and don't get distracted or, interrupt your sleep habits. Delete one non-essential app this week. I actually did this a couple of years ago as a part of digital minimalism, and it helped because I didn't realize how much stuff was on my phone that was doing the unnecessary alerts. Number one. Number two, it was taking up space. So here I am adding more cost to make my cloud bigger, my iCloud. And then I started thinking about it and I was like, why do I need all these apps? And most of the apps, they were in the background and I wasn't using them. So just remove that thing, get rid of that junk on your screen. And tip number 9, celebrate mental wins. Here's an example of a mental win. You could say, I said no and I didn't feel guilty. And a lot of people don't realize no is a word, it's a sentence. You can literally say no, period. And it's okay to do that. You can even celebrate that you journaled for 3 minutes today. Just like Tameka was saying earlier, when she first started doing the brain dumping, it took some time, but also the fact that she realizes it makes a difference. So even if you start off with 1 minute, that's fine. Then go to 3, then go to 5, whatever makes you feel comfortable. Mental hygiene is always in and about the small things.
Now, just remember, when you're building your mental hygiene, it's important to remember if your brain's been feeling foggy or fried or you're just feeling a little off, you're not broken, you're overloaded.
Mental hygiene doesn't fix everything, but it will help you build resilience. And that's what the journey is all about. Check out the show notes for our downloadable mental hygiene toolkit. You can also check our website that has that on there. Share this with someone you love, someone you care about, and don't forget to subscribe. This is Generation GPS. I'm your co-host, LaDonna Green.
And I'm your co-host, Tameka Green.
Helping you navigate the turns life never warned you about.